So I think it just
It's gonna be
crowdfunding.
I, and this is the beauty, bro. Everything that we've done, because we think in systems. I think this is a recent lesson that we've kind of taken on, that everything has got a system. Everything has got for life in general, and that's created everything with its own system. And so if you can apply that system to different things, it can it should get the results. And if it doesn't, maybe just tweak one element of it, tweak another element of it. But ultimately, if you can start thinking in systems and seeing everything as a system, you could actually master the formula, essentially.
I think another thing, Vessel, I'm just thinking about that we did, I think that a lot of people don't do. A lot of people try and go on the journey on their own, right? And so what happens is that they actually like fizzle out because they're on their own. So I think there's two levels of getting support. One is the fact that we were actually business partners, and we were kind of, when the times were hard, we were like pushing each other on and like saying, "Oh, bro, just stick with it," and trying to help each other. So I think that's one massive level of support. And obviously, when we talk about business partners, we're like, you have to be aligned, you have to have the right values, and all these kind of things. But I think something I realized today is that also, bro, when we were trying to walk these paths, we had a beginner's mindset. We were like, okay, we don't know anything, we need to learn it. Right? And so if you think about it, like when we first did Amazon, we paid money for a real course, and it was a lot of money, and we learned how to do Amazon, right? And then when we later did crowdfunding, we paid money for a course, and we did crowdfunding, right? And so all these kind of times, we were spending a lot of money on our own development, learning the ways to kind of do things. And I think this is why it's so relevant now that we've kind of been through all these experiences, we're now trying to share that expertise with other people, with Muslim CEO, with the Growth Accelerator program and stuff like that. And I think this is a path that people should really go on, so they don't have to make their own mistakes, you know?
Yeah, look, this is where the whole lifelong learning comes into play, because this is why, like I told you before, I was embarrassed of the whole generalist thing. I didn't used to like it, but now I embrace it. I actually am like a proud generalist, because that's what's given me this kind of diverse experience. I literally, you put me into any environment, it wouldn't faze me. Some of the stuff we've done, like we've never done it before. It doesn't matter. We'll find a way. We'll learn watch this YouTube video. Oh, okay, no, you know what? We'll do this course, or we'll speak to someone. Sometimes what we've done, just spoken to someone that we found who's been and done it before. Oh, do you have 5 minutes for a quick Skype call? I don't see everyone. A lot of people, when the people who've done it, they're actually willing to help. That's what we don't. That's what people don't realize. I've got that kind of. They're a bit worried and this and that, but just ask.
Do you remember, Faisal, like one example of that is actually those...
That can happen.
Do you remember that guy, Faisal? One example of what you're saying is we met this guy called Fred in China, right? Who had basically done crowdfunding, and he had raised like a 1.2 million or something crazy, basically, right? And he was just telling us the secret to doing that. And we were just like, we don't even know the guy. And he was just like telling us the secret. He's like, if you want to have a call when you're back in London, no problem. And so I think you're right. People who are actually really helpful.
Yeah. I'm going to the same with us, because it's a nice segue into the final part of the journey, because what actually ended up happening was we had obviously created this product and all that kind of stuff. We learned through all this e-commerce and all this stuff that we were doing that creating the product was actually the easy part. Like selling it online was the hard part, because there's so much noise, there's so much competition and stuff. And so we actually went to different agencies and different people to, okay, look, can you help us do this? Can you help us do that? Paid money again for agencies. No one really got us good results. They were terrible results. And we were like, why are we spending all this money? And we were like, look, because we forgot our own rules, our principles, which was, learn it for yourself and continuous learning and stuff. So we learned it, and it got to the point where we mastered it, and people then started coming to us. But then we were just giving them free advice. Oh yeah, what's up? Voice notes. Oh, you just do this, just do. And it got to the point where people start asking so much, it kind of spawned a new entity in itself, which was like the consultancy, and that that's kind of where we are today, really. That's the birth of Muslim CEO, essentially. I led to the agency, which is Life Digital, and then through all that, got lots of different clients. Gave them lots of value over the years and stuff. So it's amazing. I read, another thing I read recently was, have you heard of something called a jigsaw career?
No. Sounds like my career.
So jigsaw career is like a new thing that they're saying. Like they think that for Gen Z and millennials, this is the career that they're probably going to be having. And because back in the day, it was very workplace was linear. It was like, okay, look, you're into the job, you're going to be in it for 25 years, you're going to get a gold watch, and you're going to retire, and then stuff. Now they say that, to be honest, the world is changing so fast. You actually don't know what your job you're going to do in 10 years. And so just try lots of different things because it's all a piece of a jigsaw. And eventually, through doing all this different stuff, you will figure out yourself, and you'll figure out what you're all about and what you're passionate about, what you're good at, and then you'll excel. And this is why I thought that's exactly what's happening with me, because I really now champion this thing of fitra and being. When you're at fitra, you're in flow. That's really how I see it. Like when you're in fitra, you're in flow, because when you know the Japanese, they call it ikigai or something. Have you heard that phrase, which is being which is like when you're at your best self or whatever. It's that whole thing. We have it in Islam that, look, we were all born for a purpose. We all have a different skill set. I just like how you have the trees. You have a tree that was there to give shade, a tree that you can take medicine from, a tree that's going to give you bark. It's the same with us. You know, in science of nature, we're also people who have been given a different purpose. We need to figure out what that purpose is and give value, because that's our life is short. How can you give value? That's the real test, really.
Amazing.